Hi, welcome to our lesson today on dimensional analysis. This is our next lesson in our proportional reasoning unit. So today's objective, and let me move this out of the way a little bit, is to learn to use one or more conversion factors to solve rate problems. So as you remember from our prior lesson, a rate problem looks for things like density or the comparison between two different quantities. So pause for a moment and please complete the do now below. And in this do now, you're going to be determining each unit rate. It's a great way to practice the skills we just learned. Okay, welcome back. Since you've completed the 4, let's check your answers. That's right. We have jump rope 192 times in 6 minutes. That is 32 jumps per minute. 4 pounds of bananas for $2.36 ends up being 59 cents a pound. 16 anchor bolts for $18.56 is $1.16 per bolt. And when you have 288 movies on 9 shelves, it's about 32 movies per shelf. Well done. So with dimensional analysis, that's when you're converting from one unit to another. And when you convert units, you need to multiply by one or sometimes more than one ratio that is a conversion factor. So, for example, feet and inches. Well, 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. And that could be a conversion factor to convert inches to feet. So if I knew I had 400 inches and wanted to determine how many feet. So let's look at an example of this. As you can see below, it's like multiplying by one whole. Anytime we have an equivalent conversion factor, this is like one whole because it's the same value. 1 foot is the same as 12 inches. When you're using conversion factors, and please make sure you either copy this or print this page and glue it into your notes, but make sure to put the units you're converting to in the numerator, the units you're converting from in the denominator. Again, just to reiterate, make sure the units you're converting to are in the numerator, and the units that you're converting from are in the denominator. All right, let's check and see how that works. 63 feet into yards. If you notice here, I have my 63 feet. The units I'm converting to is yards. The units I'm converting from are feet. I'm multiplying by the conversion factor of 1 yard is the same as 3 feet. If you notice, I can simplify the units of feet out. So now I'm left with 63 yards over 3, or 21 yards. And you know that 21 yards is the same as 63 feet. You can actually do that division. You know that that's true. So I want you to try to think of it in your own way. Now, don't forget that there are 100 centimeters per meter. So yes, you can do the conversion because you know, but let's think of the conversion factor itself so you can practice the skill of the conversion factor. I know that you can change meters to centimeters. So let's think about it. How are you going to get meters to centimeters? Don't forget what you're converting to goes in the numerator, and the one you're converting from goes in the denominator. You're right, 100 centimeters over 1 meter. When you multiply, you have 520 centimeters. Well done. Let's try another one. 8 pounds, 2 ounces. So converting 2 ounces from pounds. Please write this in your notes, show your work, and come back and check it. Okay, let's see how you did. That's right, there are 16 ounces in a pound, and so when you multiply, you have 128 ounces, and 8 pounds is 128 ounces. Well done. So let's think of it if you have to use more than one conversion factor. Let's try this problem. A car traveled 60 miles on a road in 2 hours. How many feet per second was the car traveling? So the problem is stated in miles and hours. The question wants feet and seconds. That's two different kinds of conversion. We have to get miles into feet and hours into seconds. So if you can determine your information that you need to use, that would be helpful for you. So here we have a list of information. There are 5,280 feet per mile. This is, we want to go 2 feet. We are coming from miles. And in this case, we want to figure out how to get from hours to minutes and then minutes to seconds. So we know that there are 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute. So how many seconds are in 1 hour? You're right, there are 3,600. Don't forget that you're multiplying 60 times 60 to get there. So when we're using that, we don't have to look at the numbers quite yet. We are going from miles per hour to, don't forget, 2 feet. This is where we're coming from. And in this case, we're going into seconds, but I understand that this is on the top here, the hours on the top and the seconds on the bottom. That's because the hours are going to simplify out with the hours. And we actually went from hours to minutes and minutes to seconds. So this is a second conversion. So if we look at it with the numbers, I have 60 miles per 2 hours. I want to multiply that by 5,280 feet. That's how many there are in 1 mile. And I know that there are 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. So this is what I'm multiplying together. Now, if I look at this and I just start multiplying, I think I'm going to get a really big number. I'm talking in the thousands, right? So it's a really good idea, like we did above when we simplified our units and we're left with feet per second, to simplify our multiplication using the rules we know about the commutative property, and go ahead and simplify as much as we can. So let's see what we can do. So we already simplified out our units. We're left with feet per second. Let's look at the 60 and the 3,600. Those look very compatible because I know 6 times 6 is 36. So if I choose to change that first, I can simplify out 60 goes into 60 once and 60 goes into 3,660 times. And I already knew that because that's how I got to 3,600. So next, if I look at the 2 and the 5,280, I can see that those are both even. So let's go ahead and simplify that out. What can I get here? I can get, let's see, there we go. I can get 2 goes into 2 once and into 5,280, 2,640 times. So that's good. I still have some pretty big numbers here. Let's look. I've got a 60, which is even, and so is this. 60 can be divided by 3, and, well, so can this. Well, that means this can be divided by 6, and so can this, but it can also be divided by 10. So I know I can divide both this number and this number by 60 because I can use my conversion factors that I already know. So let's see what I can get here. There we go. 60 is divisible by 60 once, and 60 goes into 2,640 44 times. So my answer is actually going to be, let's make this nice and sparkly, 40, well, it's blue, 44 feet. It's going to fade per second. Fade it away. So let's make that permanent. Let's make it stars. 44 feet per second. 44. All right, so we've got 44 feet per second. Notice all of the work that we did. We set up our original, then we simplified our units, we had our conversion factors, simplified the values, and we multiplied. So let's have you try some. Convert each measure. We want to go from pounds to ounces, and don't forget, what we're converting to should go on the top in the conversion factor, grams to kilograms. And in this one, we're going from yards and seconds to miles per hour. So we're going to have to get from yards to miles and seconds to hour. Give it a shot in your notes, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Have a great time. Bye.